Lelouch Lamperouche is the one true king of all of anime. While not being really the strongest, most heroic, or even the most well-designed character, Lelouch is without a doubt the best written and most interesting character among the highest tiers of characters. But what actually makes Lelouch so good to the point where he can actually be dubbed the king of anime? Well, Lelouch's character is a masterpiece of complexity and depth. Unlike many protagonists who fit neatly into the roles of hero or villain, Lelouch is beyond simple categorization. As a troubled high schooler who's revealed to be a prince of the Holy Britannian Empire, who harbors deep resentment towards his father, Emperor Charles, for the neglect and suffering inflicted upon his mother and sister during his childhood. His personal vendetta drives him to lead a rebellion against the Empire under the alias of Zero, donning a mask and a cape to hide his true identity from the world, and to create a symbol of resistance. What makes Lelouch so compelling is his duality in his personas. On one hand, he's a loving brother who is willing to sacrifice everything for his sister, Nunnally. When he learns that Nunnally has been taken hostage, he risks his life and the success of his entire rebellion to rescue her. His deep care for her well-being is a consistent motivator in his actions, showing his capacity for love and selflessness. On the other hand, Lelouch is a ruthless tactician who's not afraid to use manipulation, deceit, and even sacrifice innocent lives to achieve his goals. An example of this is the infamous Zero Requiem plan. Now, for those of you who don't know what this plan is, it's essentially what makes this anime so beautiful and such a god-tier experience. But it does contain major spoilers. So to avoid them, skip to this point ahead. Now, for those of you that didn't skip, Lelouch, being the ultimate mastermind, orchestrates his own death to bring about world peace. By taking the role of the ultimate villain, Lelouch unites the world against him. By carefully orchestrating his own assassination at the hands of his best friend Suzaku, who is known as one of the strongest soldiers in the Britannian Empire, he takes on the role of Zero. This act of self-sacrifice, while noble in its intention, is achieved through a series of morally questionable actions that force the viewers to question the nature of justice and the cost of peace. Intended to end the cycle of hatred and violence, he united the world in their shared hatred of him, and paving the way for a lasting long-term peace. In anime terms, this plan was the world peace Pain from Naruto was searching for, if he was truly committed to his cause. And Lelouch's plan was well thought out and executed properly. But I digress. This act is the finale of his journey, reflecting his growth from a vengeful prince to a selfless hero willing to die for the greater good. This moral dilemma is present throughout the series, and forces viewers to grapple with their own perceptions of what's right and wrong. In one notable episode, Lelouch uses his Geass power, an ability that allows him to command anyone to do his bidding, to order the mass murder of Japanese civilians to incite a rebellion and gain a strategic advantage. While his actions are aimed at toppling the tyrannical rule, the way he goes about it are often brutal and ethically questionable, creating a character who is endlessly fascinating, but deeply human. Lelouch's evolution throughout the series, from a vengeful teenager to a self-sacrificing hero, exemplifies the complexity of his character arc. Initially driven by a personal vendetta, his motivations evolve as he begins to understand the broader implications of his rebellion. By the end of the series, Lelouch's plan, the Zero Requiem, is a testament to his growth and willingness to bear the weight of his actions for the greater good. This transformation highlights the depth of his character, and cements his place as one of the most compelling and multidimensional protagonists in anime. Lelouch's journey is flooded with ethical dilemmas that can challenge both him and the audience. His use of the Geass, a power that allows him to command anyone to do his bidding, raises questions about free will and the abuse of power. For instance, one of the most controversial moments is when Lelouch accidentally commands his sister, Euphemia, to massacre Japanese citizens, an act that haunts him and irrevocably alters the course of the entire rebellion. Lelouch usually justifies his actions as necessary causes for the greater good, but his methods are frequently questionable. The moral greatness of his decision-making, while most of us really won't admit it, makes him an actual, relatable character, as it mirrors real-life struggles we have with ethical decision-making. Throughout the series, Lelouch's actions lead to many outcomes, both positive and negative. His rebellion sparks hope among the oppressed and enslaved. The resistance group he leads, known as the Black Knights, managed to liberate several areas from Britannian control, instilling a sense of hope and resistance among the masses. However, his victories come at a very high cost. Like in the Battle of Narita, Lelouch's strategic genius inevitably ends with a victory, but it leads to a devastating landslide that causes massive casualties among both enemy soldiers and civilians. The dual impact of his move shows the complexity of his revolutionary actions, and the often blurred lines between heroism and villainy. Lelouch's moral complexity is further explored through his relationships in the series. His bond with Suzaku, a childhood friend turned enemy, explains the interplay of loyalty, betrayal, and the differing ideologies. Suzaku's unwavering belief in achieving change from within the system contrasts sharply with Lelouch's revolutionary approach, adding depth to their conflict and forcing viewers to ponder the ethics of their respective paths. On one end, Suzaku joins the Britannian military to change the empire from within, believing in lawful methods and gradual change. In contrast, Lelouch's radical tactics and willingness to use any means necessary creates a rift between them, creating intense confrontations where their conflicting ideologies clash vigorously. Additionally, Lelouch's relationship with C2, the woman who grants him the power of Geass, further delves into its complexity. C2's mysterious past and her own moral indifference further influence Lelouch's journey, adding even more depth to his already complex character. Their partnership is marked by mutual manipulation and a deep but complicated bond. C2's own experiences with the burdens of immortality and power mirror Lelouch's struggles with the weight of the future on his shoulders. Their interactions reveal more about his internal conflicts and vulnerabilities, while Lelouch's interactions with other characters, such as Colin, a loyal member of the Black Knights, and Nunnally, his beloved sister, further dive into his multi-faced nature. Colin's unwavering faith in Zero is met with confusion and disillusionment when she learns his true identity, highlighting the duality of Lelouch's persona. Meanwhile, with Nunnally, she serves as a constant reminder of his original motivations and the personal stakes involved in his crusade. In essence, Lelouch's character is a masterclass in complexity, intertwining personal vendettas, ethical dilemmas, and deep relationships, and the true cost of achieving a better world. This intricate portrayal makes Lelouch one of the most compelling and enduring characters in anime, whose story continues to resonate with audiences worldwide to this very day. Lelouch's strategic brilliance is another aspect that cements his status as a standout character in anime. His ability to outthink and outmaneuver his opponents is nothing but god tier. Whether devising intricate battle plans or orchestrating political coups, Lelouch's mind works with the precision of a masterclass chess player. His iconic line, "The only ones you should kill are those who are prepared to be killed," reflects his calculated approach to warfare and leadership, emphasizing the importance of being prepared for the consequences of his actions. One of the most notable examples of Lelouch's battle IQ is the Battle of Tokyo. Faced with one of the strongest forces of the Britannian Empire, Lelouch devises a complex plan to turn the tide in favor of his forces. By exploiting the weaknesses in the enemy's formations and using his Geass to manipulate key figures, Lelouch orchestrates basically a no-diff victory. By creating a fake military base to mislead his enemies, and using a combination of deception and surprise to gain the upper hand, this battle showcases his ability to analyze the battlefield, predict his opponent's moves, and execute a strategy that maximizes his advantages. Another example of Lelouch's strategic genius is the Black Rebellion, where he leads a full-scale uprising against the Britannian Empire. In this rebellion, Lelouch uses his position as Zero to rally various clans and unite them against a common enemy. His careful manipulation of the public opinion and his ability to inspire loyalty among his followers demonstrate his skill in both military strategy and political maneuvering. Lelouch's approach is not just about winning battles, it's about shaping the narrative and controlling the perception of the conflict. Lelouch's intelligence and foresight are so central to the plot's progression and serve to highlight the importance of strategy and intellect in leadership. Unlike many protagonists who rely on physical strength or surpassing your limits, Lelouch's victories are achieved through meticulous planning and ruthless manipulation. His ability to anticipate his enemies' moves and adapt his strategies accordingly sets him apart from mostly every other anime hero. This emphasis on mental prowess over physical strength hits harder with viewers who really appreciate intellectual depth in their characters. His strategic genius is also a reflection of his upbringing. He was exposed to the intricacies of political maneuvering and the harsh realities of power from a young age. His education and experiences in the royal court provided him with a deep understanding of the laws of power and influence. This background gives him the tools needed to weave his way through the complex web of alliances, betrayals, and power struggles that define the world of Code Geass. For instance, his experiences with his father, Emperor Charles, and his interactions with other high-ranking officials provide him with valuable insights into the dynamics of power and control. This knowledge becomes crucial as he embarks on his rebellion, allowing him to anticipate and counteract the strategies of his enemies. His ability to adapt and turn the tide in seemingly hopeless situations completely undermines his unparalleled tactical prowess and cements his status as one of, if not the most strategically brilliant characters in anime history. Beyond his strategic brilliance and moral dilemmas, Lelouch's character is imbued with a massive amount of philosophical depth. His actions and motivations can be seen through countless philosophical lenses, adding layers on layers of meaning to his journey. One of the lenses is utilitarianism, which are actions based on their outcomes, and the principle of achieving the greatest good for the greatest number. Despite the immediate harm in his choices, Lelouch's actions often embody this principle. His decision to launch the Black Rebellion and engage in a full-scale war against the Britannian Empire can be seen as an attempt to dismantle corrupt and oppressive rule to benefit the larger population. Despite the amount of bloodshed and chaos that ensues, Lelouch believes that the end result of the world, where his sister Nunnally and others can live in freedom and peace, justifies the means by which he executes his plans. His willingness to shoulder the burden of being a perceived tyrant, similar to the Zero Requiem plan, reflects his utilitarian-esque decision-making. Lelouch aims to achieve a lasting peace and stability, even if it requires the temporary suffering and pain of many. Lelouch's story can also be seen through the existentialism lens, which explores the quest for self-meaning and a place in his seemingly indifferent universe. Lelouch struggles to find a purpose and assert his identity in a world defined by power and control. This existentialist quest reflects his transformation for his search for personal significance and his desire to impose his own meaning on his life. Like his decision to continue his rebellion despite the growing personal cost on his life from his isolation from friends, the loss of loved ones, and the moral compromises he makes. This can be seen as his attempt to forge a legacy that transcends his personal regrets and failures, as he continues to create a world that will remember him as both a tyrant and a savior. Lelouch's relationship with power is characterized by manipulation, deception, and a ruthless realism in the pursuit of power. His use of the Geass power to control others, his strategic manipulation of allies and enemies, and his readiness to engage in morally questionable actions all reflect Machiavellian principles. However, this is balanced by his altruistic goal of creating a world where his sister and others can live in true peace. Lelouch's underlying motivation is not personal power, but the desire to create a world for those he loves and for the oppressed. In sum, Lelouch's character is filled with deep philosophical themes. His journey entices viewers to reflect on the nature of morality, the search for meaning, and the complexities of leadership and power. This philosophical depth makes Lelouch, without a doubt, one of the most intellectually stimulating characters in anime. So why does Lelouch stand out as the king of anime? This status is not only well-deserved, but is woven into the layers of his character and story. His intricate characterization, moral complexity, strategic brilliance, and philosophical depth all establish him as a figure of unparalleled greatness. Lelouch's story transcends the typical tropes of rebellion and power. It's a rich exploration of the human mind, marked by a series of ethical questions and emotional depths that challenge both the character and the audience. In the pantheon of anime greats, Lelouch truly stands above all of them as a towering figure whose legacy continues to inspire greats and challenging ideas, making him the one and only true king of anime. First off, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. I really love making this stuff for you guys. Secondly, what do you guys think about Lelouch as a character? If you guys don't agree with me that Lelouch is the actual king of the anime, then who do you guys think could actually rival him? If you clicked on this video, I'm assuming that you're into very complex characters, and if you want to check out the video we did about villains and how actually deep and complex they really can be, I'm sure you guys would probably like it. If you guys like the videos, just keep watching. Alright, sorry about that. Now stay locked in. You hear me? Love you guys. See you in the next one. Peace.